Our server was originally created for us to have fun in. It was going well at first. We were catching new Pokemons, learning new things, and we even started having more friendly competitions. But I guess none of us were actually satisfied with just friendly competitions. As soon as Josh sent those Pokemons, the server was bound to change. Everybody suddenly wanted control, power, and ultimately, the title of the greatest trainer in the server. We all wanted it, no matter what we had to sacrifice. That's the main reason why everybody has been so distant ever since. And that's also how I found myself in this situation. Are you sure you'll help me become the best? I mean, this isn't a scam, right? You know what? Sure. I'll trust you. Did you just do that? Oh, so you do have a face. Well, kinda. Anyways, what should I do first? Wait, what? Sorry, I'm so confused. How am I supposed to become the best if I'm just doing the same thing? What? I'm back. That guy didn't even let me finish. You know what? Screw him. I'll just do what I originally planned to do. After finding out how the battle ended last time, I knew that I would have to be fully prepared for the next one, if I wanted to win. And so, I made another to-do list to make everything as efficient as possible. First thing on the list is to build a daycare for Pokemons. While it may look like a waste of time for now, I knew that once this was built, it increased my Pokemon's power tremendously. Then I'll have to figure out the team that I'll bring for the rival battles. I have a slight idea on what Josh will bring next time, but Vishy on the other hand is still a huge question mark, so I'll have to prepare carefully. Next up is to train my Pokemons. I'm well aware that I won't be able to win with just my Pokemons alone. I mean, Josh did show us that last time, but if I trained them depending on what they needed, we'll definitely become unstoppable. Lastly, win against Josh, Vishy, and a gym leader. This time, I won't fail. With that in mind, I started the day by preparing the design for my daycare. I already have one in mind, but I was still lacking resources. So I quickly started making my way to the Dark Oak Forest. It took a bit of time, mostly because I kept getting sidetracked.
What Greninja is it?
But after a few more minutes, I finally found one.
Oh, found it!
And with the help of vein mining, I quickly got a bunch of dark oak wood for the whole build. Once I got enough blocks for the daycare, I placed down a waystone and teleported back home.
What the fuck happened?
The next day, I set up the schematic for the build and quickly started building. If you think using schematic is cheating, then I don't know, subscribe. Also, here's the video for the tutorial. Link is in the description. I began building the foundation of the daycare. Then moved on to the roof. Afterwards, I placed some windows on the side. But after a while, I found out that I didn't have enough glass for the windows, so I went over to a random beach biome to destroy a habitat. On day 94, the building process continued. I placed some more details inside so that it actually looks like a daycare instead of a prison. After a while, it started looking pretty good. There were just a few more things left, so I finished up the roof and added fence gates on each side. Since one of my plans for this build was for it to also act as a farm, I decided to build one inside. Yeah, I'm not very proud of this decision. There is one problem though. I don't have any mints. Never mind, I got some mints. Before the day ended, I placed some light sources before finishing the project. And just like that, my building phase is finally over. It took a bit of time, but it really did turn out looking pretty good. Now that I'm finished building, it was time to start breeding my perfect Pokemon. I placed my Charmander and my Ditto inside a pasture block, then waited for an egg.
Okay, so Charmander's wiki is Dragon and Monster. Dragon and Monster. That means we need one Pokemon that is either Monster or Dragon. We got Squirtle, Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Ekans is a fucking dragon? What?
After a few minutes, I finally got one. I hovered to it to see what IVs it got. Yeah, it was ass. I was slightly confused on why that happened, so I did a bit of research before I continued. It turns out that power items don't stack when breeding, and that I had to use a destiny knot instead of another power item. Honestly, I was pretty disappointed, but you can avoid this disappointing experience by watching my Cobblemon breeding guide. Considering the crafting recipe for a Destiny Knot required me to have a gas tier, I knew I had to start right away. Since gas don't spawn in our server, I had to go and hunt for a bunch of ghastlies. Luckily, I was near a biome where ghastlies normally spawn in. I started the massacre by knocking out every ghastlies I saw, until I finally got one.
Oh, got it. Got one. Let's go.
I went back home, crafted a Destiny Knot, and gave it to my Pidgeot since it had better IVs and I could use it for later. Nothing interesting really happened on day 97, except for this one.
What are you doing, bitch?
I'm breeding them.
Are you breeding this girl?
Yeah.
Since it was so uneventful, I decided to limit this by putting every rare Pokemons I had in one pasture block.
Look, Annihilape. But did my game crash?
Yeah, the server didn't like that very much. On day 98, I really wanted to get an Aegislash, so I started training it up. Well, I tried training it, but this guy kinda killed it before I could start. I tried again, but this time, I gave Honedge an EXP share, an item that allows the holder to gain XP even without appearing in the battle. This was also the perfect time to try using Kangaskhan. I heard it was one of the best Pokemons back then, so it got me curious. I challenged this ace trainer to start off my training. He led the fight with Persian, while I went with Kangaskhan. I tried going for Reversal, a fighting type move that increases its damage the lower the user's HP is. Sadly, he used Feint Attack, taking away a small amount of my HP, resulting to my Reversal, also dealing a few damage to it. Persian used Feint Attack again, but this time, it hit a crit, but Kangaskhan was able to put it on the orange by using Dizzy Punch. Then on the next turn, Kangaskhan finished it off with one more attack. He then sent out his Raichu. I tried using Reversal on it, but it moved first, knocking out my Kangaskhan. I sent out my Venusaur to help me get rid of this Raichu. Since electric type moves aren't very effective against Venusaur, I knew it was safe. This guy is cheating. I went for a Petal Blizzard, but he kept attacking with Thunder. Luckily, none of its attacks actually got rid of Venusaur, and on the next turn, Raichu missed his attack, and Venusaur finished it off with another Petal Blizzard. He then hovered to Ninetales, forcing me to switch to my Gyarados. And with one Waterfall, Ninetales was also knocked out. It was looking very good for me, but then, he sent out Pikachu. An incredibly strong counter to Gyarados. Now you might think that switching Pokemon is the correct option here. Well, it is, but I'm kinda stupid, so I kept it in. Pikachu knocked my Gyarados out with just one Thunderbolt. But this allowed me to safely switch into Alakazam. He once again used Thunderbolt, dealing a decent amount of damage, while I went for Psyshock, quickly putting Pikachu to 24% HP, letting me take it out on the next turn. He continued the battle by sending out Rapidash. Alakazam was able to land another Psyshock, but since it was already low, Rapidash easily knocked it out. Considering Venusaur was also low and had a status effect, I was forced to use Honedge. I was able to damage it further by using Shadow Sneak, but alas, Rapidash quickly got rid of Honedge with just one Fire Spin. But this battle isn't over just yet. I sent out Venusaur, hoping that I could at least win with my partner. I locked in Sleep Powder, but Rapidash went first, but it also missed! And luckily, Venusaur was able to hit its Sleep Powder. This game is definitely over. But Venusaur wasn't able to move. It's fine, as long as it stays asleep. This guy is actually cheating. He went for another Fire Spin, putting my Venusaur to the red. I got to use one more Petal Blizzard, but sadly, it wasn't able to knock Rapidash out, resulting me to lose my battle against Ace Trainer Julie. Nah, that's bull. I went back home, healed up my Pokemons, and added my most dependable friend, Shedinja. As part of my training, I went back to that Ace Trainer to have my rematch. I swear it's not because I'm a sore loser. With Shedinja on my team, we quickly and easily won the battle. During that battle, Honedge got a bunch of XP, allowing it to evolve into Doublade.
Ooh. Damn.
But that's not all. Since I had a Duskstone in my house, I was able to evolve Doublade into an Aegislash.
Finally.
Looking around its move pool, I noticed a peculiar move called King's Shield, a move that protects the user and lowers the attack stat of any Pokemon that makes direct contact with it. Aegislash was really looking like a Pokemon I could add to my party, but Kangaskhan on the other hand, was a little disappointing to say so the least. I continued the night by training up my Pokemons even more. Then as the next day rolled around, I started messing with Vishy a little.
Hello, knock knock. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello.
Not gonna lie, but I'm definitely going to do this again. I then spent the whole day waiting for new eggs to appear, but I was kinda unlucky with it. But I did catch an Abra before the day ended.
Yeah.
And finally, we finally reached day 100. I knew I couldn't just spend it by waiting for eggs to hatch, so I made my way to the Nether to try and catch myself a shiny Ghastly. Normally, this would be an incredibly difficult challenge to complete, but since our server has the mod Cobblemon Unchained, it definitely made it doable for me to accomplish. As more time passed by, even more Ghastlies went down because of me. But after a while, something unexpected spawned.
Oh, Meloet. It's spawned. Where the fuck is it? No way. Ah, man, it's gone. Unlucky.
Yeah, This might be karma, but that didn't stop me from killing more Ghastlies. And I also caught a Scorch and a Darmanitan while I was there. This continued for 2 more days. And after I was done, I apparently reached 123 Ghastly bodies, but no shinies whatsoever. With absolutely no luck, I decided to go back home. It's already this late, huh? Guess I'll just continue tomorrow. Wait, did I just teleport myself? Do I have that much power already? Teleport, teleport, teleport! Just kidding. Anyways, where even is that guy? What's that? Shedinja, Toxapex, Kangaskhan. Is that Charizard? These are Pokemons. But what are they doing here? What? Wait, huh? We haven't even discussed anything yet. Yeah, I did, but you literally made this team without any of my opinion. I do, but... Can't we at least implement some of the Pokemons I like? You know what? Fine. Wait. I didn't even get to sleep. And so the entire day was used with me figuring out what stats to train my Pokemons with.
I think I'll EV train this with HP and attack and a few on speed, just a little bit. For a special we're definitely going for the special defense. I think we have to go for HP here.
I wasn't the most thrilled with these changes, but at least I still have both Venusaur and Shedinja, 2 of my most trusted Pokemons in this SMP. Before I started training, I had to optimize my Pokemon's IVs. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it should at least not be 0 on every stat. Then, while I was waiting, Josh suddenly gave me a visit.
Hello.
What is this?
My breeding farm.
And as the proud owner of the daycare, I went ahead and gave him a quiet tour.
Let me give you a tour.
Can we do a sneak tour?
Oh, okay, sure.
And this is the healing place. You'll see a healing place and I'm species. Hey, sneak! He then insulted me after it was done.
Ew, what is this I'm looking? Look at this bearded man. Ew!
I'm sad now. I got a bit tired of breeding my Pokemons, so I started venturing the world to catch more Pokemons.
Huh?
I caught myself a Donphan, a Shinx, a Ditto, and an Arbok. I then continued my journey by exploring a nearby village. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get anything valuable, so I decided to return back home. Considering that I've used most of my time from breeding and building, I figured it was time to actually train my Pokemons. So I crafted a Power Weight, an item that gives 8 HP EVs just by knocking out a Pokemon. If you weren't aware, power items are essential to EV training. The simple explanation is that specific Pokemons gives different amount of EVs. But if you were to give your Pokemon a power item, it'll automatically give 8 EV stats no matter the Pokemon you knock out. And just like that, training has finally begun. I teleported to a gravel beach biome and started beating up some Grimers and some Slowpokes. Thanks to my Venusaur and Gyarados, the HP training was quickly finished, and Marini was starting to look very bulky. But the training wasn't over just yet, because Marini also had to train its special defense. So after a quick research on what Pokemon gives special defense EVs, I came to the conclusion that Pyukumuku was by far the most efficient special defense giver. I went ahead and started looking for a warm ocean. It took a bit of time, but I was able to find one. There I began killing some Pyukumukus and a few Tinkatinks. But then suddenly, a Fion spawned nearby. I hurried towards it and initiated a battle. I sent out Venusaur to weaken it. I kept using Takedown, making sure that this Fion won't accidentally die from just one attack. And just like that, I was able to put it to 28% HP. But as a result, Venusaur's HP also went to the red. I went for another sleep powder, hoping that it hits. Luckily, Venusaur was able to put it to sleep. I prepared my Ultra Ball and threw my first one. I threw my second one. It shaked once, then twice, but it broke free. Thankfully, it stayed asleep, so I used another one. It shaked once more, then twice, but again, it broke free. It stayed asleep for the second time. If I wanted to catch it, I knew I had to do it. Now, I used another Ultra Ball, then shook once, then twice, then 3 times. And finally, it got caught. With the help of my 1 HP Venusaur, I was able to catch a new mythical Pokemon.
Pretty good.
Then I continued the training, until finally, Marini was able to evolve into Toxapex.
Yo!
While the EV training wasn't finished yet, it's always cool to see my Pokemons evolve into more powerful versions of themselves. The grind continued. I knocked out more and more and more Pyukumukus. But on the 110th day, the training was finally finished. I tested it out against a very strong and formidable opponent. A Shelder. Okay, maybe it's not that strong, but a win is a win. Day 111 began with me figuring out what moves Toxapex will have. Everything was looking a little uninteresting until I saw one move, Painful Bunker. A move that protects the user as well as inflicts poison against any Pokemon that uses physical moves against it. This move, if used correctly, could absolutely destroy anyone's strategy.
Oh no!
After a while, I finalized the moveset that my Toxapex will be using. You might think Liquidation is a little weird, but I didn't have Scald, so this is the next best thing. Probably. I finished off the day by working on breeding my Pokemons even more. But before that, I had to actually test my Pokemon's abilities. I challenged a wild Buffalo to a battle, and let's just say, Toxapex is the GOAT, baby! Considering that Toxapex's training was finished, it was time for my other Pokemons to also get some much needed love. Kangaskhan was up next in the training list. I gave it the Power Anklet for its Speed EV. Then I went back to the beach gravel biome. Lucky for me, one of the Pokemon that gives Speed EVs is one of the most common Pokemons in the ocean, a Magikarp. I'm sorry, but I have no choice. I'm definitely not having fun killing these poor little fishies. Thanks to the sacrifice of all the fishes in the ocean, Kangaskhan's EV has gone up to max. Oh wait, it still needs some attack EVs. Thanks to the sacrifice of all the fishes in the ocean, Kangaskhan's attack EV has gone up to max. And on day 117, Josh asked me to help him hunt for a Froakie. I decided to accept, especially since he also said that he'll give me one if he gets it. And so, we waited, and waited, and waited. Then I caught a Roselia. I don't like where this is going. The hunt continued, but just like last time, I had no luck with the starters. But I did catch this Tatsugiri, but still no starters. But later on, we did get a starter. Well, by we, I mean Josh.
I got it.
You got the Mudkip?
I got it. It won't go in my ball though.
He was able to capture a Mudkip, a very iconic water-type starter from the Hoenn region. It isn't a Froakie, but it's a starter nonetheless. As we were heading out, Josh then said something funny.
Alright, let's get out of here. I got 3 starters.
How the f does this guy got 3? We then celebrated by vibing.
Oh look, Josh, you know what this Pokemon reminds me of? This was you back then. Josh looked like this. I'm gonna call this guy Josh.
Why are you so mean? Why are you so mean?
I got pictures of what Lee looked like as well.
After having absolutely no luck with breeding, I decided to continue the day by training up my Mankey. I specifically wanted to train Mankey up because it evolves in a peculiar way. You see, once Mankey evolves into Primeape, it'll only evolve once it learns Rage Fist, a ghost-type move that increases damage the more times the user gets hit. Now, it may look easy, but the problem is that you have to use Rage Fist 20 times. I mean, I guess it's still easy, but it does take a bit of time, so yeah. The training continued, but it was going quite smoothly. Soon after, it was finally able to evolve into Annihilape.
Yay!
With the help of its increased stats, we were able to quickly finish training. As I went back home, I noticed Vishy battling with a Pokemon I haven't seen yet. Scizor, a bug and steel type Pokemon, known for its high attack stat. Its speed stat is fair to say so the least, but what makes it strong is its ability. Technician is an ability that increases the Pokemon's attack by 1.5, but only if that move has 60 or lower base damage. Normally this wouldn't be much of a problem, but Scizor knows the move Bullet Punch, a 40 base power move that has +1 priority. It'd be troublesome to go up against it, especially because most of the battles are normally decided by how fast the Pokemon's attack, but no point worrying about it now, so I headed towards Josh to get my new starter Pokemon eggs.
Quickly, man. What the heck?
Both had bad IVs, but it does help me complete my Pokédex, so it was alright. Afterwards, I started another adventure, but this time, it was to find different types of berries. I traveled through forests, plains, and even swamps, just for me to get this much. I know it seems like a lot, but none of them are actually the berries I needed. You see, the berries I needed to get are Pomeg berries, Topsy berries, Qualot berries, Ondu berries, Grepa berries, and Tamato berries, all of which reduce the Pokemon's EVs. And considering that I had to fix my Pokemon's EVs, I had to quickly get a bunch of them. But before that, Josh wanted to test out something again, and since I was curious, I decided to help him once more. This time, he sent out a Pokemon that I wasn't familiar with, a Gliscor. He said something about using poison powder on him, so I just did what he told me. And that's when I realized what he was trying to do. Gliscor is one of the few Pokemon that can learn Poison Heal, a move that, well, heals the user when it gets poisoned. With this ability, Gliscor won't need to have an item to heal itself, instead could use something that could boost its attack. I was surprised, but then I realized I was once again underestimating Josh. What? Who else is there to change? I mean, you can't swap my Venusaur out. That's my starter. No, don't tell me. You can't. It saved me a bunch of times from different battles. No, but you know what? I don't even care anymore. Just do whatever you want. The hunt for berries continued. I went to another forest and found nothing. I went to the plains biome and still found nothing. Then I went towards the snowy taiga biome and found a Chanpao.
Oh, it's dead. It's dead. Oh,
I kinda killed it, but then I found an iron bundle.
what the I found an iron bundle before anything. What the I found it before I could. How? What the
Yeah, I was a little frustrated. Once again, I went back to my house and started searching, just to find out that the berries I needed had to be breeded with other berries. Here's the thing, in order for you to breed different berries, you have to let it grow beside each other. Then that should naturally grow a different berry once you harvest it. And harvest it I did. I used basically all of my bone meal to get all the berries I needed. You know what? Worth it. Then I decided to look through my egg collection. I still haven't gotten the perfect Charmander, but this one was incredibly close.
Oh my gosh, it was almost there.
Now it won't take long for me to get a perfect charm.
Oh, I got it. I got it. I got it. Yeah.
It's been such a long grind. Well, for me at least. You guys just saw parts of it. But nonetheless, I finally accomplished one of my main goals for this server. Now it was time to place it in my box. Are you ready to go inside your box? I have a spot especially for you. Did you say something? Oi, what the f***? Damn! Don't scare me like that. My goodness, you almost gave me a heart attack. Oh, that guy, that's my perfect IV Charmander. It took me a little longer to get, but hey, it's there. Again? I mean, I guess I could do that, but what Pokemon am I even putting in? What? No! That'd be against the rule. No, I won't. I do. That's exactly why I don't want to use this guy. Fine, but in exchange, tell me what the plan is already. It was finally time for the rival battles. But before we head into the battle, let me explain the strategy first. The 6 Pokemons I'm bringing are Venusaur, Toxapex, Charizard, Annihilape, Kangaskhan, and Ninjask. This team consists of a main tank, which is Toxapex, 3 supports, and 2 damage dealers. Kangaskhan for physical attack, and Charizard for special attack. Both Charizard and Kangaskhan will be holding their respective Megastones. These two will also be the center part of each strategy. The first strategy will be about Charizard setting up the sun. With the sun up, both Venusaur and Charizard will gain a massive buff. As long as those two are still in the battle, I'll surely be able to win. The second strategy revolves around 2 Pokemons as well. Mega Kangaskhan with its ability and pure damage, and Ninjask with Baton Pass. To start this strategy off, I'll have to bring out Ninjask, then I'll use Protect. That way I'll be able to get the speed boost from its ability. If it's still healthy, then I'll try using Substitute, making sure that I'm able to use Swords Dance on the next turn. After getting 2 speed boost and 1 Swords Dance, I'll then use Baton Pass to Kangaskhan. That way Kangaskhan will receive +2 speed and +2 attack, letting it sweep the opponent's team. There's one big problem though. In order for this to work, that means my Ninjask will not be able to do anything aside from support Kangaskhan. It feels wrong to use a Pokemon like this. But nevertheless, I had to win this match, no matter what. I headed to the arena and was greeted by Vishy on the other side. This will determine whether my team could indeed beat anyone. sent out Toxapex while Vishy started the fight with Satu. He quickly set up Tailwind, increasing his team's speed, while I attempted to set up with Toxic Spikes. But because of Magic Bounce, it instead went to my side of the field. Suddenly, Satu started attacking with Thief, dealing a small amount of damage, while Toxapex countered with Liquidation. I tried going for another Liquidation, hoping to get more damage in, but Vishy swapped into his Whimsicott, and because of that, my attack barely did any damage, but I knew it wouldn't be able to knock out my Toxapex, so I used another Liquidation, looking to at least lower its defense stat. But then, Vishy used Encore, forcing my Toxapex to only use the same move. With that, he was able to set up Sunny Day for free, while my attack barely did any damage. Vishy was really dictating the pace of the battle, but I'd soon find out that he had more up his sleeve. He sent out Lilligant, looking to KO my Toxapex. Now I had two options here. Either I switch Toxapex for another Pokemon, or I keep it in. If I switch out, then I'll be able to keep Toxapex safe, as well as heal it with its Regenerator ability. But the problem is that it'll be very hard for me to come back afterwards. So I kept it in. That way I'll be able to keep my other Pokemons healthy, as well as set up some Toxic Spikes. Luckily, Liquidation was able to lower Lilligant's defense stat. Unlike Whimsicott, Lilligant is actually able to one-hit KO my Toxapex, but I was dead set on setting up the Toxic Spikes before switching. However, instead of trying to get the KO, Lilligant went for Quiver Dance, a move that boosts the user's special attack, special defense, and speed. Vishy's Pokemon suddenly became very troublesome to deal with, but I was prepared for this. I went for Haze, a move that removes all change stats of the Pokemon, but this will only work if Toxapex is able to tank Lilligant's attack.
Oh, hell no, I'm out of here.
Vishy launched a Solar Beam, but my Toxapex was able to tank it with 35% of its HP remaining. And just like that, Lilligant's Quiver Dance got eliminated. Unfortunately, I made a huge mistake. I tried healing upward recover, but since the sun was still up, Lilligant was able to shoot another Solar Beam, officially ending my Toxapex's time in the battle. Now I had to think about the Pokemon I had to switch into. I could go for Annihilape and set up Stealth Rock for later, or I could go for Kangaskhan to quickly get rid of this Lilligant, but... Wait, the sun is up, Lilligant is on the field, and everything is on the correct spot. That was a nice play, but you're losing this battle. Charizard, Mega, Evolve. So, what do you think of my Mega Charizard? In just a few more turns, and your Lilligant will turn into ashes.
I knew something was up when you built that daycare, but I didn't think I'd be so spot on. You think I wasn't prepared for this? Lilligant, use Sleep Powder. Now, return. Gyarados, it's time to end this.
Charizard, wake up!
It's too late. Gyarados, Aqua Tail.
I can't believe this. You're going to lose? Well, it certainly looks like it. Why do you want to prevent this loss so much? Is it because you're scared of something? Scared of losing? Scared of judgment? Oh, I got it. Scared of being left behind. You don't have to do this alone, you know. Who else can I rely on except for myself? Your Pokemons. You've been relying on yourself for so long that you forgot to trust the Pokemon that's fighting with you. It's a good thing that you've got some forgiving friends. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. But let's finish this.
Well, this is looking finished. Why don't you just surrender?
You've played incredibly well, Vishy. Every single one of your strategies worked.
So, does this mean I
But
won?
you made one fatal mistake. You've hit this guy way too many times.
Oh shit! Satu! Protect!
Use Rage Fist. The battle continued. He sent out his Whimsicott, but it became poisoned due to the toxic spikes, and with one Rage Fist, Whimsicott quickly went down. Vishy went for Quackable, but Annihilape went first, putting its HP to the red, and luckily, Vishy blundered by using a fighting-type move against my Pokemon, and because of that, Quackable also fainted from its poison effect. With no choice left, Vishy sent out Mega Scissor. It was able to go first with Bullet Punch, forcing my Annihilape to use its Orange Berry, but once again, Rage Fist quickly took out most of its HP, and on the next turn, Scissor also went down. I was one step closer to winning. Lilligant was brought out, hoping to at least get rid of Annihilape, but with the boost it got, Annihilape was able to one-shot Vishy's Lilligant. That only left Vishy with his Satu. This battle will be decided on whoever moves first, and with no hesitation, I went for Rage Fist, letting me win my battle against Vishy. I won! I won! Huh? Does it really matter? I mean, I still won. What's that supposed to mean? Once again, I was faced off against a familiar opponent. Same person, same place, but different outcome. Josh started the fight with Chansey, while I led with Toxapex. I knew Chansey won't be able to deal that much damage to Toxapex, so I quickly started setting up. Josh then made his first mistake by using Toxic against my Pokemon, and with the help of that blunder, Toxapex was able to set up Toxic Spikes. He countered by using Stealth Rock, but because of that, I was able to set up another layer of Toxic Spike. I quickly began attacking with Liquidation, but Josh lowered down the damage with Growl. I paid it no mind and continued attacking, but Josh used Growl once more. And on the next turn, the same thing happened again. If this keeps going, I'll eventually lose my Toxapex for nothing. So I finally went for Haze. With all stats going back to normal, Toxapex was finally able to deal a fair bit of damage. But then Chansey went for Soft Boiled, healing back to full HP, but I continued to attack, hoping to at least lower its defense stat. However, Josh sent out a familiar Pokemon, Gliscor. With the spikes that I placed earlier, Gliscor was able to activate its Poison Heal. It wasn't looking good for me, but I could still win this. He then went for Earthquake, dealing half of Toxapex HP, while I was still stuck with prolonging the battle. He once again used Earthquake, almost knocking out my Pokemon, but fortunately, Toxapex healed back to 100 HP with Recover. He attacked again, but the result remained the same, which is why Josh instead went for another Swords Dance, allowing me to deal a decent amount of damage to it. Josh used Swords Dance again, but I wasn't going to let him use those boosted stats. I went for Haze, resetting every boost he got, but it persistently kept using Swords Dance. After a while, Josh got tired of the back and forth, and so he decided to attack. Gliscor continuously used Earthquake, while Toxapex tried its best to stay alive. Even with Toxapex's best efforts, it was soon taken out. It's sad to see my Pokemon get knocked out for a single strategy, but with that, it was finally time to begin. I sent out Ninjas, but unfortunately, it received a lot of damage from Stealth Rock, but that didn't stop me from using Substitute. However, Josh was able to get rid of it with just one Ice Fang. In spite of that, Ninjas was able to gain another level for its speed stat. Ninjas immediately protected itself, so I was gaining one more speed stat increase, and with that, I could finally begin my plan. Do you remember when you absolutely dismantled my team with your modified Pokemons? Well, I have a surprise for you. Ninjask used Baton Pass.
You're joking. Kangaskhan? I get that it's strong, but that doesn't really matter because you won't even be fast enough to use it.
Not fast enough? Did you forget about the speed boost that Ninjas got?
What about it?
Well, it turns out that once I use Baton Pass, those stat boosts will be transferred to the Pokemons I swapped into.
Wait, that means...
This Kangaskhan is the fastest Pokemon in this battle. And that's not all. Kangaskhan Mega Evolve. Use Earthquake. Even though Josh Mega evolved his Gengar, it was still unable to survive an Earthquake against my Kangaskhan. It was fascinating, but also a little bit scary. How could one Pokemon do this much damage to a single team? Is this even allowed? Am I alright with winning like this? Sacrificing my Pokemon just for one of them to come out on top. When I eventually win, would this even be because of me? No, this isn't what I wanted. By using these strategies, it took me a while to get, but this won't be the path I'll be taking. Yep, because this pride of mine will be the reason I become the greatest trainer. That's where you're wrong. If I win with this strategy, then I've already lost. After my Kangaskhan finally went down, misplace after misplace followed alongside it. It continued over and over and over and over again until my Charizard fell to the ground. It was sad to see, but this is the only way for me to move forward. As I stepped off the stage, Vishy and Josh were ready to have their rival battle, but unlike last time, this battle seemed comfortable. I don't know how to explain it, but I knew it was definitely going to be a great battle. Vishy sent out his Satu, while Josh went for Chansey. Vishy was quick to use Tailwind, while Josh tried to set up with Stealth Rock. Unfortunately for Josh, his Stealth Rock went back to his area because of Magic Bounce. Satu then started attacking with Thief, but Josh blundered and used another Stealth Rock. Seeing how Satu isn't able to deal a bunch of damage to Chansey, Vishy opted to switch to Whimsicott. And with that switch, Josh was finally able to use Stealth Rock against Vishy's team. Whimsicott then used Encore, forcing Chansey to keep using Stealth Rock. As expected, none of the Stealth Rocks actually worked. Afterwards, Vishy was able to safely set up the sun, while Josh was still stuck because of Encore. Fortunately for Josh, Encore was about to run out, but before it did, Whimsicott was able to taunt it, forcing it to attack instead of support itself with setup moves. Whimsicott's job was finally finished, and so Vishy swapped to his Lilligant. To salvage the situation, Josh also switched to his Clefable. Vishy then continued the fight by quiver dancing, but Josh suddenly attacked using Flamethrower, putting Lilligant to 29% HP. If Vishy didn't quiver dance, Lilligant would have been knocked out. Vishy knew that his Lilligant will become useless once he switches out. That's why he tried going for the one-hit KO using Solar Beam, but sadly, it was barely able to do so. Clefable, on the other hand, swiftly took out Lilligant with one more Flamethrower. Josh was able to get the first lead in the battle, but then Vishy's Mega Scissor was able to quickly knock out Chansey with just one Bullet Punch, but once again, with two Megas on the field, it seemed really poetic. Mega against Mega, Speed against Power, Josh against Vishy. Josh quickly put Scissor to sleep with Hypnosis, letting him use Shadow Ball on the next turn. But right after he attacked, Scissor suddenly woke up and used Swords Dance. And because of that, Vishy was able to get rid of Gengar with Bullet Punch, resulting to Vishy taking back the lead. Josh knew he won't be able to win if that Scissor stayed alive, so he sent out Cinderace, hoping to get rid of it, but Vishy swapped his Quackable. Cinderace landed a Pyro Ball, dealing half of its HP. If Quackable uses a Water-type move, then his Cinderace will definitely meet its demise, so he swapped to Chansey. But Vishy knew this was coming and launched an Aqua Step, dealing a huge chunk of damage, as well as increasing its speed. And on the next turn, Chansey got knocked out. Josh was forced to send out his Gyarados. It quickly bounced up, preparing the attack. However, Vishy stopped the attack from hitting its starter, but as a result, his Satu took the KO for it. It once again went back to even, but that would quickly change after Vishy sent out his Scissor. Vishy went first, opting to use Bullet Punch, but he wasn't able to deal much damage. But Josh's Gyarados made sure that this was Scissor's last moment on this battle. Vishy then sent out his Shining Gyarados, lowering Josh's attack. The Battle of the Gyarados began, with Vishy using Dragon Dance, while Josh went for Dragon Dance as well. On the next turn, Vishy went for another Dragon Dance, while Josh used Bounce, hoping to knock it out on the next turn. But then, Vishy suddenly used Protect, making Josh's attack useless. Vishy continued to use Dragon Dance, while Josh tried his best to knock it out, before it could sweep his team. But on the next turn, Vishy's Gyarados finally attacked with Ice Fang, dealing a bunch of damage. Fortunately, Josh was able to attack back with Crunch, but he was barely able to knock it out. Vishy then ended the Gyarados fight with one more Ice Fang. It wasn't looking good for Josh, especially because Vishy's Gyarados has the power to sweep his entire team. Josh tried to hold on by using Gliscor, but alas, one Ice Fang quickly knocked it out. He then sent out his Cinderace, but one Waterfall got rid of it, making Vishy the winner of this match. Seeing them win with their own strategy and strength really does put a smile on my face. With this newfound trust I've got, I know that one day, I'll be able to join them as well.
Yo, Lee! The f you standing there for? Come over here!
Yeah, sure. I'm back. I thought I told you that I won't do this with you anymore. It doesn't matter. It's over. I'm going to do things my way now. You know what's funnier? The fact that you can't do anything about it. Really. Guys, what did you do? What do you mean? Delete the world. No, stop. Ah, my head. Where the heck even am I?